Hello and welcome to another episode of Card Making with Stampin' on the Hill. I'm Deb Kais. Today I have for you a fun fold card, and I'm making this card for my mom whose birthday is on Christmas. So it has to be a little bit of Christmas and a little bit birthday all together. And I always try to make it a little bit special because it's my mom. So let's see. We're going to start with let me just put this down on my hands. This is a template that I made, which shows the dimensions. So we're going to start with a piece of cherry cobbler cardstock, and this is 11 by 4 1/4. And we're going to, well, I already have it scored. So I scored it at, my instructions tell me, 2 3/4, 5 1/2, and 8 1/4. So then what I'm going to do, move this out of the way here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my cutter and hopefully make sure you can see it. And then I'm going to, at 2 inches, so I'm going to line one side up with the 2-inch mark. And I'm going to make a slice between the first and the last score marks. So if I bring my cutter in and my blade, you can see where it's going to line up right there. Push that down. And then I'm going to cut until I get to the other score mark, and I may end up running off of the camera just a little bit. Move this out of the way so you can see what I've done now. So you can see I've got a cut between this score mark and this score mark. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this one this way, and I'm going to fold so my 2 inches on the bottoms of my card, and I'm going to fold the 2-inch side upward and this one backward, and then I'm going to fold this one toward me. So then it's going to fold like this. We can use our bone folder, which I hadn't gotten out yet. So I can use my bone folder and make some nice creases on all the folds. Flip it over so that it'll lay flat for us. All right. So now this is our card base. And let's see. I've pre-made most of the elements for this. I'm going to set this aside. I've pre-made most of the elements just to make this video go faster. But what I'm going to show you is a couple of tips and tricks. I have, this is all part of my little template here. So I already know that the layer that I'm going to put here, and this is DSP, I'm using the Joy of Christmas designer series paper. So this is 2 1/2 by 4. And get a little glue on there. And center it up. And then I have just a plain piece of white, and my 2 top pieces are both 2 1/2 by 2. And this is where I'm going to put my message. So we're just going to leave that like this. And I'm just going to write on it. So I have not stamped anything here. Center that one up. And then I have let's see, let's put this one on first. So this is just another piece of the DSP. And that one's going to go down here. I'm trying to get most of the elements on the card before I show you the this one is Old Olive. The background is Old Olive, and I've used the Daisies, Cheerful Daisies die to get the little greenery here. And I've also run it through the hatch mark folder, which comes in the basics folders. There's a set of 3 of those in there. So I'm going to put that there. And then I've also cut this. I cut this tree out of the back of this. I think it was, yes, because that was green on the back. So I cut it out of there. And then this is just old olive background that I made. And this is pecan pie. The background of this is pecan pie, and I ran that through the timber folder. Again, you don't need a ton of glue. This is just paper, people. Doesn't need to stand up through a war or anything. Okay, so that's that part. Now for the couple of other pieces. So I'm going to move this out of the way a minute and bring in my silicone mat. So here's a little trick. So I cut out, this is the Christmas pine cones dies I've used for this. And I've got a couple of them, but I'm going to put a little glue here, and I'm going to use a sponge dauber. This is just an old one. And we're going to turn over so the pine cones come in like a base with, and then this is supposed to go over the top of it. But the easiest way to glue this on is to grab some glue here and just kind of give it a little tapping on the silicone mat, because then this glue is going to dry and you just rub it off with your finger. And the other thing that I found is if I can line up the bottom sort of and give that just a little press, and then I find that it's easier to flip it over and make sure that the rest of the pine cone lines up the way I wanted it to. So there's just a little tidbit for you. This, let's see how to line this up. Here's another tidbit. This is another piece of greenery. And then my happy birthday. And I was going to show you quick how to make the banner ends. I've already cut one, but the easiest way to do this is to slice, halfway between the top and the bottom this way, and slice it up here, and then go from the corner to the top of that, and then from the other corner to the top of it again. So those are there. And what I'm going to do with this is put a little bit of glue on the bottom of here, because I just want it to, I'm going to put it like this, I guess. And then I used to have, darn. Okay, so now I'm missing one of my pine cones, because I had two small ones and one large one. And now one's missing. So I'm going to put my pine cone, just a little dab on the small pine cone, and I'm going to add that to here. And then what I wanted to do was line it up so that when I put this part down, and then this is going to go over the top of it. So I wanted a pine cone here, and then a pine cone over here somewhere. And of course, I can't find the other. There it is. Found it. Awesome. All right, so let's put the big pine cone on first. Little glue. Use this to kind of line it up. I can always move this up or down a little bit, but I want to kind of want it to look like it was intentional as part of. Now see, I'm going to watch, because I don't want these to run off the side of the card or it's not going to fit in the envelope. But we'll put this one here, and then we're going to add this. Actually, you know what? Let's glue this down first. Like this. All right, then I want to Let's see, I want this to be right about here so it looks like it's together. So I'm only going to glue from like my score mark here. So from about the B over. That's the only part I'm going to glue. I've got my finger in there as a general guide. And then this is going to go here. Straighten it up. All right. So now it's kind of cool. All right. And then let's see here. Oh, this part. So here's what this is, a kind of a fun thing. I used the daisy, cheerful daisy dies, and I cut out these pieces. So I cut out of cherry cobbler, I cut the outline. So that's just a solid. And then out of cherry cobbler again, I cut the detailed piece. So this would kind of line up like that. But then I used the larger die and I cut it out of some silver glitter paper. And what I did it on this side, but I'll show you on this side what I did. And because I only wanted this big daisy here, so I kind of laid it out like this so that the big daisy got onto, and because I didn't want to just waste all the rest of this. So I lined it up as best I could, and there's a little, and cut it out. And then here's what I ended up with. You can kind of see there's little pieces on here. You can see them better from the back side. So I'm going to just take and snip those off. I don't want glitter all over everything. So let's see. Snip. And snip. That one could be better, I think. Let's get a little closer. Maybe if I flipped it over a little bit. I just think it's easier to see it from the back side. It's just harder to cut from the back side because my hand's going the wrong direction. That's close. There. And then I didn't worry about poking the holes out of this because I've got these layers going on, so it's really not going to matter. I'll show you. So then this is going to line up with this. So let's glue that one on. And I'm just gluing like a couple of petals here and there. And so this is going to go this way. Sometimes if you get them all lined up, it's best to keep them all in a row. Otherwise, you're constantly twisting and turning, trying to figure out which way the petals actually do line up. So after I cut them, I lined them up and I figured it out. And now watch me not be able to do it. So now this is going to go here. Once I put glue on it, we'll see if I can line it back up again. It's a little tricky, but I'm sure we'll get there. All right. Now I know this is a tedious card, and it is. It's okay. Because my mom, you know. So there's that. I'm gluing that right on. And now I needed something for the center. So I did use the one little center part of the die, and I cut out of silver, again, the glitter. And now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in my foam piercing mat. And I'm going to take this and flip it over. And from the center, this is my take your pick tool. And I'm using the, oh shoot, I forgot what the little balls are called. Anyway, and I'm just going to rub this in a circle around in here, and it's going to curve it up or down, if depending on how you look at it. So now it's curved a little bit. Pull this stuff out of the way. And then I'm going to just put a little mini glue dot on the back of there. And pull the paper off. And then let's see, which way should it go? Like this. No, I like it like this better. I'm just going to stick that in the middle. think tweezers might be in order for this, but we got it. All right. And then because there's so much bulk to this card, I don't use a bunch of dimensionals. You'll notice that, or maybe you won't, but behind this tree, I put dimensionals, and then just under the center of it, this is technically a daisy, but I wanted it to look like a poinsettia. So another use for your dies. So I'm just going to glue it, and this one's going to go here. And I want to make sure that I'm keeping within the lines so it doesn't fold, here on the crease, or it doesn't go above, or it won't fit in the envelope. So that is, that's kind of cool. Anyways, and then it can stand up so you can see it this way. And it makes a nice mantelpiece kind of a card because it'll stand up. And I know that this one's really fussy, so I made another one for another birthday card. And this one I just made out of, I'll show it to you this way. It's mostly all DSP. So I used Lemon Lolly as the card base, and I used the Bright and Beautiful DSP, which is just 6x6 DSP. And then I used the Beautiful Balloons bundle to cut out the balloon and the streamers and for the greetings. But so this one went together very fast. So it doesn't all have to be as tedious as this one. So that's what we have. All right, let me bring us back to the front here. Front and center. Here we go. All right. So thank you for sticking with me and watching this. If you don't already have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. Check out my Facebook page. It's Stampin' on the Hill if you don't already know it. And there's a little link up there that if you wanted to be on my monthly newsletter, as a recipient of that, you can register to get the newsletter. In the newsletters, I always add the instructions for the previous month's classes. In case you missed the class, then I send the tutorials for that as well. So happy holidays, everybody, and thank you for watching. See you again next time.